As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner, YouGov, offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. Let's talk about cutting edge esports here, okay? Because we've had conversations on the podcast about chess as an esport. We've had conversations on the podcast about poker as an esport. None of these things matter. Prepare to unveil the latest in the esports world. This is Microsoft Excel Esports with a tournament that is actually happening. It's an official Twitter account for Microsoft Excel posted a link to an upcoming esports tournament between 8 top financial modelers. They're calling it the Financial Modeler World Cup or Financial Modeling World Cup. It's sponsored by Microsoft. The description was actually posted on smash.gg. Ironically, they can't air this tournament on Mixer, which probably would have made more sense. But we've got here the Financial Modeling World Cup multiplayer battle. I don't think they say what the prize is, but this is evidently being positioned by Microsoft as an esport. In the context, guys, of all the discussion we've had, and many of you have defended chess as an esport, many of you have defended poker as an esport. Who here is ready to defend Microsoft Excel as an esport? Jimmy, M, go ahead.
It's easy, man. It's speed running at its finest. You know, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's just another form of speed running. Like, go ahead and do it. I'm sure they had qualifiers and they were amazing. You know, pumped out lots of great content from it, from all these, I'm sure, very personable financial modelers. Yeah, no, modelers. I don't think
you have.
I think it'll be fun to watch.
Your point's a good one, right?
Yeah, I genuinely believe it's a form of speed running, and it is an esport technically.
Is there anyone who's offended by this as calling this an esport? Jeff, you're a finance guy.
I'm not offended by it. It's I don't know how interesting it's going to be to watch.
You're an esports athlete, Jeff.
You could be.
I am.
You're even pro because you get paid to do it.
Yeah. I don't know what they're actually going to be modeling, right? Like, are they going to be whatever? Yeah. I'd love to see the rules and really dig into this.
I'll read it. It says 8 spreadsheet jockeys from 8 different countries will compete to use the most of Excel's capabilities to solve complex problems in no time. After the battle, they're going to share the financial models with the viewers, use this opportunity to learn some tricks used by some of the greatest minds in financial modeling.
I mean, we get this is marketing, right? I just have to say clearly, like, we get that, like, I know we can have a theoretical discussion about can Excel be an esport, and I'm happy to do it because I actually think there's arguments that you can make because it really comes down to the question of what is a sport, and it's tough to define. But, like, this is marketing. This is just clever marketing, guys. That's literally what's going on.
Isn't all esports marketing, though?
Yeah, that's a good point, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
It is. For many of the gaming publishers, esports is a marketing expense to get people to play their game. How is this any different? It's a marketing expense to get people to use Excel.
That is actually
Cam best comment of the day. 1v1 me, bro. That's a slow clap right there. Lindsay, make the argument, please. You're the traditional sport lover. This offends you, right?
Sorry, I went out for a second. Am I good?
This offends you, right? Yeah, you're good.
Oh, love this. Are you kidding me? You're asking like a nerd if she thinks that this should not be a competition? What the heck, Paul? You read that? I was like, wow, I'm finally gonna have to make a Twitch account. That was
the sad part is we missed it. It happened yesterday, but maybe we can get the VOD.
Why would you do that to me?
I know. It was on the 8th of June, unfortunately, but
I don't know. Like, I mean, I suppose technically people are essentially doing a strategy-based game on a keyboard, so you could kind of turn it into what could possibly be an esport. But I think that the point that this is just marketing and like a competition, like I like that we're lumping like any type of competition that involves a computer. It's like, esports, here it is. But in the end, like I don't think that widening the range of this industry is necessarily going to be a bad thing, because if for some reason Microsoft Excel is the first thing that makes it into the Olympics, like we're all going to be watching anyway.
So does anyone think this is a slippery slope, though, from an esports definition perspective? That, like, at some point, we're going to start seeing articles where everyone's shaking their head going, come on, guys, this is not an esport anymore. Right? Like, it's all novel now.
I think they already are. I think we've been doing that for years. So many games come out with, like, this is the premier mobile esport, and it's like bowling. And it's like... And I think people have been like, I think it's more of a marketing term at this point. We're talking about marketing. The whole thing is marketing. I think it's just marketing at this point. Esports itself is just a marketing vehicle. I think it's even losing its meaning. You say the word so many times and it's just like, what is this intangible thing anymore? You know, like I think it has lost its meaning, and I think it is used to describe everything in this world. And we are the ones who get to define it, luckily.
I mean, Ramsey says definitely a slippery slope. Like, at some point, do we have to stand up and say, no, this is not an esport anymore, even if it's just a marketing gimmick?
I don't think so.
No?
But William,
just let it all happen?
Yeah.
I don't know. I always think with these things, like, first of all, remember, you don't, just because it is slippery slope doesn't mean you can't draw a line. That's one thing. So Paul's right. We can draw a line. The other thing here, though, is I always go back to the, you know, and I'll defend this from the Book of Esports. I think the best way to think about this, and I put a lot of thought into that book, guys. So if you haven't read it yet, go read it. It's the monetization model. It's the monetization model that's being employed. That's how you figure out if the thing is a sport. If the thing is made to be watched, that's when it crosses the line into sports. If that's its primary purpose, right? Like if that's that's the thing. And I think here, you can exclude it because it's not made to be. I get that you can have a fun one-time event as a joke or something, but like, you know, it all comes down to the viewership here, because that's what sustains sports. It's media. It's my own 2 cents. Read the. It's a good point. Yeah. It's a good point. I like it.
Go read the Book of Esports if you haven't already. That's the takeaway here, guys. Ramsey says, just call it an Excel tournament. Same audience would tune in. I don't know. I
really think so. Like, I don't, because how would you even go about, like, say you wanted to draw a line in the sand about what esports was. How do you go about doing that? How do you even comment on what a sport is in my book? You know, like, I think the fact that it's a rule set that, I mean, it's something that is made to be watched. I completely agree. But can you even draw a line? Can you begin to define these things? Because I guess what perspective are we looking at from, right? Like, even for the end viewer, for them, an esport is anything they can sit down and watch that has competition that happens electronically. But for a company, it's something that they can use to market, something that they can measure, like, the viewers with. So maybe it's the end consumer who needs to answer this question about what is an esport to them. I don't even know.
I mean, there's this more existential question of, like, do we even need to define it, right? Like, we love talking about it and the definition of it. Is it really necessary? Just let it be. They want to call it an esport. Who cares, right?